Hello everyone, how you're doing? I'm so glad you're watching my channel and I'm so excited today because I'm gonna film myself ranking Paramore's albums from worst to best. Don't forget to subscribe down below and drop a like.
Hi, I'm Vicky and welcome to my channel.
All We Know Is Falling was released in 2005 and it's an absolutely amazing debut. There's a sort of mix of genres in this album, from alternative to pop rock. It's very interesting to see how Paramore started having a sort of heavier sound. They were definitely experimenting back then to see what truly was the real Paramore sound, I think. But one thing about this album really indicated what they were about to become, a band that loves writing confessional lyrics. My Heart is an absolutely epic song. It sort of has this hardcore vibe and it's so interesting. There's even a bit of screamo. Tracks like My Heart, Never Let This Go, Emergency and Pressure really stand out. And I would recommend you to just go and listen to it right now. It's really worth it and you won't waste your time. After Laughter is Paramore's more recent album, but it's another one that it's really good. I know some of the Paramore fans won't be happy about it because, wow, some of them don't like them anymore because they changed their style, but listen, it's a good album. It doesn't matter the genre, it's a good album. And it has great songs like Hard Times, Rose Colored Boy, Fake Happy. All of these songs, they're very confessional as well, so there's one thing about Paramore's that hasn't changed at all, which is their music, lyrics, style, I would say. The album talks about forgiveness, depression, moving on with your life, growing up, and it's absolutely incredible. It's one album that people can relate instead of an album about how many Ferraris you have. I will say it has a new wave sound, pop rock sound, and synth pop as well. The only thing emo about this album is the lyrics, so you can listen to 26, which is very emotional. There's only one track for me that doesn't make any sense, which is No Friend. For me, it shouldn't be put in this album. It doesn't sound anything like any of the rest of the tracks. And it's not even Hayley Williams singing, and I don't know. I'm not a fan. Ain't it fun? Paramore's self-titled album took place when members left the band. Yet, I'll say it, it's such a good album, I absolutely love it. One of Those Crazy Girls is such a great song, and Still Into You is one of the best Paramore tracks ever released, but it still feels like the emo Paramore that so many fans love. I personally really love Hate to See Your Heart Break, and it's one of those tracks that I listen every month. You know, I don't stop listening to it. I can never get enough of it. Hayley Williams said it was the first time she felt she was expressing her feelings from the bottom of her heart. Hayley Williams' vocals are divine in this album. No, she's not doing something hardcore like she used to do before, but her vocals singing Still Into You, it's just mind-blowing. And I have to talk about Ain't Fun because this track is ridiculously fun, and I remember winning a Grammy, which how many rock bands can say the same. Interesting fact, the song Ain't Fun was the first track that led to Paramore to win a Grammy, and I know it's crazy, right? Because it was the first time that a female rock singer won a Grammy since Alanis Morissette in 1999, so whoa. But it had to win because it's such a funk rock new wave track and it's absolutely unique. There's nothing like it. Even the interlude track, I'm Not Angry Anymore, is good. It's just one of those albums you don't want to skip any track. I kind of wish that I'm Not Angry Anymore was a longer track. It's just really nice and chilling, and it has a sort of like ukulele sound. Overall, it has a very nostalgic sound, and especially in the track Daydreamin', which I really love. That's what you get when you let your Obviously, Riot is an amazing, amazing album. I remember when it was released in 2007, they also had their song The Code on the Twilight soundtrack, and I was like, what is this band? It's one of those albums that when you listen, you know you're gonna go back to listen to it again. The best thing about this album is all the tracks are really, really, really good. So you're not gonna be skipping track after track after track. Shout out to That's What You Get, because that was an iconic single for Paramore, and I still think to this day it's one of the best Paramore songs ever released. It's very well written, the guitar sounds are catchy, there was nothing like it. You can't compare this album with anything else that was done before, and this is what makes Paramore so iconic in that sense. They had their own sound. So they had Hallelujah, That's What You Get, Crush Crush Crush, and Misery Business, obviously. Maybe I shouldn't mention it because Hayley Williams no longer is a fan of Misery Business, but it's one of the tracks that the fans love to this day. And I would say the lyrics are not that interesting, but the sound really makes it special. 99% of Google users like this album, so it's not just me who liked this album. There is no doubt that this album was the one that made Paramore famous. Brand New Eyes is not only my favorite Paramore album, but it's also one of my favorite albums of all times. And I'm gonna tell you why. First, the lyrics. Girl, you've got some serious songwriting skills. Every single lyrics, they sort of like express an emotion. So you see ignorance. You can see she was really angry and really upset with the members of her band. Yes, she wrote songs about members of the band and they played on tour. That's the tea of the day. They also have careful. You can't be too careful anymore. When no that's waiting for you won't come any closer. You can see the lyrics really mean something. They mean something deep. It has some sort of depth. It's sort of like finally Paramore ended up growing up and leaving from college or university, and now they got a job. There's also the mainstream song, The Only Exception, which I've gotta say, if I ever get married, that's gonna be my wedding song. Everything in this album feels genuine, honest. The melody, they don't seem like it was produced 1,000 billion times before. It feels like very unique, very Paramore. It was Paramore at their best. They also had a sort of heavier sound than in Riot, so it's sort of like they got back to do the thing that they did it in the beginning of their career with their first album, but this time being like really mature and with growing up lyrics. And another thing I really love about this album is every single track is good. There's not one single track you're gonna go like, time to skip it. I will say there's a mix of like pop rock, alternative rock, and emo, and the combination is just flawless. Brand New Eyes debuted at number 2 on Billboard 200, so it was definitely a big deal. The album topped the charts in many countries across the world, including Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and the UK. It's very interesting because back then Hayley Williams said, I was like, this isn't a feel-good song because I'm writing about something I'm going through right now and it's still painful. And I confused that with actually not liking the songs when actually I was prouder of them than I've ever been before. They're heavier emotions for me. I'm still going through some of this stuff and these songs are really healing to me. It really feels real and I can really see how she actually felt that. It feels 100% genuine. It also has a very underrated Paramore track which I absolutely love called Turn It Off. I remember Hayley Williams saying that she wrote this track because in the world that we live in, it's much easier to not to believe in anything and to not to have any faith, but it's much better when you choose to. And I think that's a very deep, it's actually a very spiritual religious song, I mean, from her perspective, but you can also listen and relate to anything else you're going through in your life. And this is what makes this album so amazing. There are so many ways you can interpret the songs. The songs are very deep. They talk about pain, they talk about anger. These songs are very angsty, but the songs are also very good. I mean, it has Careful, it has Ignorance, it has Brick by Boring Brick, it has The Only Exception. Like, it feels like if there was a CD of Paramore's best songs, then most of them would be from Brand New Eyes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know which Paramore tracks you enjoy the most in the comments down below, and see you next time!